Hello everyone, and welcome back to Game Easy Roll Good. And today we're just having a quick little video, just kind of celebrating the fact that we hit 1,000 subscribers here on the channel. And by we, I mean myself and you all watching this video now who have taken the time to subscribe to my channel. And even those of you who take the time to subscribe to my channel after the fact, I definitely appreciate all of your support. So I just kind of wanted to take a moment to thank you all, kind of talk about, what the last 4 months of working on this channel has been like, and maybe what we can think about doing in the future. First things first, you might see that someone got a green screen for Christmas, so slightly new arrangement on my video here, kind of increasing the production value, so to speak. You can see it's maybe a little rough, maybe around the edges there's some like a bit of noise going on over here. It's not perfect, I gotta get the lighting situation figured out. I got a lot of weird lights here in this sort of home office space. So yeah, first and foremost, thank you all so much. Each 1,010 of you, I think, is the current subscriber count. Again, so appreciative to all of you who have taken the time to not only subscribe to my channel, not only watch all my videos, but take the time to comment on everything, hit that like button, all the normal, YouTube interactions that we shoot for. I first uploaded my videos on September 12th of last year, so that's only, again, like just under 4 months ago. I'm sure on YouTube, depending on what niche you're in or kind of what your topics are and what your video content's like, you can probably do it much faster than 4 months. But I think as far as the D&D sort of TTRPG space, that feels like pretty steady growth, and probably was honestly much faster than I was expecting. I knew it was something that would always come as long as I kept making videos. I do know when I was like reading like Reddit and things like that about how long it took people to get their first 1,000 subscribers. Some people have been making videos for years and they still don't have 1,000, and I'm just like, maybe you're just in the wrong niche. Again, it probably just very much depends on what your content schedule is like and what kind of content you're doing, how saturated is that market, and so to speak. But and even within D&D and the TTRPG space, I do think I don't know that it's a super saturated market for sure, but overall I do think as a whole it does help that the community that we're in is very tight knit. It is a very sort of insulated community, so that if one person starts making new videos about it, they're very likely to get suggested to people who are already watching those kinds of videos. I'm sure a lot of you came to my channel that way. I feel like that's a big reason for the growth happening over, just within 4 months. Not to diminish any of the work that I put in. Even putting in 2 videos a week, even as a brand new creator, I felt like that was a little ambitious, especially during the class and subclass overview period, because those videos were very sort of labor intensive, and even the spell change videos that we just did, those required a lot more work than I thought they did. And I also think that it helps that even if a lot of the creators that you might watch, especially regarding like Dungeons and Dragons and things like that, even if we're talking about the same things, I think we all definitely have different approaches to the way that we make videos and the way that we outline our content, the way that we present our content, as well as just our individual opinions on things. Someone might notice something that someone else doesn't. I think all of those factors really kind of added together to create the kind of growth that I've had over the last 4 months. And again, so appreciative to all of you for taking the time to subscribe. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I went and took a look at, what were my sort of top videos by views. And I have 4 videos at the time of this recording, at least, that all have over 3,000 views. So my top video by views would be the Illrigger class and subclass overview. This was an unofficial class from the MCDM company, which is Matt Colville's company. This was a class and subclass that was recently added to D&D Beyond as sort of unofficial partnered content, so you can use that class on D&D Beyond if you're running games there. This is actually one of my longest videos, so I'm kind of surprised that it did so well, but at the same time, I'm not surprised by it, because again, it is a very new thing. People love new classes. They want to see what the new toy they can play with is. I'm sure some people maybe skipped through it or put it on 2x speed. But the fact that almost 4,400 people took the time to watch that, I think is very exciting. The king of the hill for the longest time was actually my coverage of the adventuring gear and the 2024 Player's Handbook. I'm actually pretty proud of this one. This is actually one of my first videos that I released when I opened this channel. When I first started this channel, I released like 5 or 6 videos immediately, just so that people had something to watch. And you can even tell by the template of the thumbnail that this is one of my older videos, because I don't include that orange text to really pop out. But I'm actually pretty proud of this one, because I don't think it was a topic that was really being covered at the time. The Player's Handbook was still pretty fresh. A lot of the channels that, had even had a sneak preview of the Player's Handbook were still covering class changes and, spell changes and all the very popular things that were coming out at the time. So I kind of had lightning in a bottle with this one, I think. I didn't go viral or anything crazy like that, of course, but I know I had a lot of people in the comments being like, thank you so much for covering this. I would have expected to look at the adventuring gear and see anything interesting there. So again, I'm very proud of this video, even if it is a very simple, formatted video, just kind of going through each of the adventuring gear and what it does. The third most popular by views would be my coverage of the rope and manacles and chains. This is sort of a sister video to the adventuring gear video, where I kind of focused in on the rope, manacles, and chains because those all have specific mechanics around them now. And overall, I just thought it was a really cool addition to the player's handbook because it kind of incentivizes non-lethal combat solutions, because if there's one person left alive and you have the ability to tie them up with, manacles, ropes, or chains, they might choose to wave the white flag. I mean, of course, they're just restrained. A restrained person can still attack or cast spells. And technically, they removed the optional disarm rule from the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. But you can technically still, disarm them either by having a battle master with the disarming strike. The fear spell, the 3rd level fear spell, causes them to drop their things. Command can have them drop the weapon. Heat metal can force them to drop it if it's made of metal, or your DM could just use the old disarm optional rule from the 2014 Dungeon Master's Manual. But those were all very exciting mechanics, and I'm glad that people took the time to watch that video and really kind of engage with that one. And then lastly, and again, another sort of partner video to the adventuring gear video was my focus on highlighting how oil can be used in 2024, because oil is, as it's written at least, much stronger than it was in 2014. Certain classes like the new Elements Monk or even Itty Monk, if they're using torches as weapons, can really kind of abuse the new rules around oil in a certain way. Not everyone agreed with the way that the oil rules worked, and that's perfectly fine. Again, I still think they work as I described as written. I understand the sort of knee-jerk reaction to be like, I think that's too strong. I'm not going to allow that in my games. There are plenty of other people in the comments that offered maybe more balanced suggestions. But if you don't know what I'm talking about and you haven't seen that video yet and you're not quite sure what these combinations are that I'm talking about, you can go ahead and watch that video after you're finished watching this one. So those were kind of all my most popular videos, but I do have some questions that I want to pass on to you as I continue making videos on this channel. The first one, of course, is what kind of D&D/TTRPG content do you regularly enjoy watching? I am, of course, just going to continue making videos that I want to make, but if there is of course, a Venn diagram where the videos that I want to make and the videos that you want to see, of course, cross over, then I know that I can certainly focus my attentions there. Of course, when new things come out, I'm always going to be trying to cover those as soon as I can. But of course, there will come a lull in content. We're kind of spoiled for content right now with the new books coming out. So eventually I'll get to a point where I have to kind of come up with new ideas for videos and things like that. So let me know what you want to see. And again, I have a green screen kind of over here. So I might eventually, when I get a better lighting space situation figured out, maybe start including like skits and things in my videos, slowly increasing the production value over the next year as much as I can. It is pretty busy, still working full time and everything like that, but always trying to do more. And in that same vein of what kind of content do you regularly enjoy watching, is there any particular niche within this sort of space that you think is underrepresented? Any kind of videos about TTRPGs or D&D in general that you think just there aren't enough videos for? Maybe that's for a good reason and maybe I won't lean that way, but I'm just kind of interested in what all of your opinions are about that. And the second question that I'm maybe most interested in, the first one, of course, being what kind of content do you regularly enjoy watching? In what ways do you enjoy engaging with other creators that you follow that I'm not currently using? Whether this is like a Discord server, streaming on Twitch. I had a TikTok for like 4 videos. Then I was like, okay, this takes too much time, or at least to make the kind of videos that I'm currently making on TikTok. And so I just kind of stopped after a while. And if it's going to be banned in, 2 weeks, I don't really feel the need to continue making videos there. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, back on my grappling video, I did say that I had a free Patreon set up just as a space that I could offer, additional content. I haven't put anything out since then. I did mention that at the time that I had no plans to really continue catering to the Patreon. That's why I left it as free for now. But as I continue moving forward, and if I'm able to offer things like early access to videos or access to the Discord server or whatever it might be through a Patreon, something along those lines, especially if you are patrons to other creators, what are the kind of perks that you look for that you would join a Patreon for? And again, that's probably still something that's probably off in the distance for me, but I'm trying to get a good feel of how people use that, because I'm personally only subscribed to one Patreon, and that's for the Worlds Beyond number for Brendan Lee Mulligan, Abri Iyengar, Erica Ishii, and Lou Wilson on their story, and that's an incredible one if you like D&D and the narrative storytelling that they do. If you aren't listening to that, you absolutely should. It's incredible. But yes, let me know which ways you enjoy engaging with other content creators outside of YouTube. And I can see, how I can expand my reach beyond that. And then just kind of generally curious, what video did you subscribe on, if you remember? Was it the first video that you watched and then you subscribed because you liked it so much? Or did you have to return after a few ones after it got suggested in your feed? I know personally there's a lot of creators that I watch that I still haven't subscribed to just because they keep coming back on my suggested videos. I know I'm as bad as maybe some of you are, are about, actually subscribing to the people that you regularly watch, which again is why we always have the, the call to action in the videos to hit that subscribe button. Sort of on that same vein again, how did you discover my channel? I know some of you are probably mutuals through the people that I play with in my play group. I also know that the Twig, the content creator on YouTube, the Twig, thus _Twig, I know that he mentioned my video on one of his channels to kind of push people to me, and that there's some growth that I got through that way. I imagine most of you probably got suggested through the YouTube algorithm, but just interested in how you discovered my channel. And sort of the last question I have in my mind at this time is, are you interested in hearing about any other TTRPG systems, whether it's 5e based or something different? What other systems do you or have you played? Well, I think for sure, 5th edition and D&D in general will be the primary focus of this channel. Sometimes I'll come across something, especially with the other content that I consume, where I want to highlight, just like a very simple system that is something that you can easily just pick up and play if you're kind of tired of D&D for a little while and want to do something different with your friends, but you're not sure what. Or maybe it's a bigger system that has things that we can borrow from and put in our 5th edition games if we're not willing to kind of convert to another system. So let me know any or all of the answers to those questions down in the comments below. I'm very interested to hear all of your feedback. And again, thank you all so much for your support over the last 4 months. We're at the beginning of the year here in 2025, so we have a whole new year to kind of grow and mature as a channel. Again, I'm very much looking forward to your feedback. I appreciate your guys' time. We still have a video coming up here on Sunday, and I hope to see you there.